Okay, so I did mention this movie the week it came out. We obviously got it a little bit late than the rest of the world because in Australia, for some reason, we can't get that release schedule to sync with the rest of the world. It's one that I know that, and I hooked my written review of this, that I know a lot of people were really too scared to see. And I think that has carried over now. And so now as it starts to come out on streaming services and platforms, I really want to encourage people to see it, and that's Hamnet.
Yeah. I still haven't seen it.
No, that's okay. Well, if you missed it in cinemas, it's taken a while for it to come out on streaming. Did you see that whole conversation that bubbled up around it? It was really interesting. So again, if anyone hasn't seen Hamnet, which I did have a smaller release in Australia, so I'm going to assume that's a lot of people. It's directed by Chloe Zhao and it stars Jessie Buckley and Paul Mescal.
Yep.
Your fave.
And Jessie Buckley has been sweeping it.
Has won every single thing, which is like, it's fun for her. It does make for a kind of like a bit of a not as exciting Oscars race, but at least we know the person who deserves to win is going to win.
Yes, and she was recently in the new movie that's just come out, The Bride. Which you've seen?
Yes, I have seen The Bride. I did talk about it in last week's Weekend Watch, so you can go listen to that. But she is 10 out of 10 out of 10 in that as well.
I feel like we're going to see it everywhere now.
Back-to-back Oscars, I don't know, maybe.
Whoa!
Like literally maybe. That's where it's going.
Good?
Yeah, it was that good. She's that good. So it was based on a book, a best-selling book by Maggie O'Farrell, who also co-wrote the script with Chloe Zhao. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of this reimagining of William Shakespeare's life.
Yeah.
Because a lot isn't known about like the intricacies of William Shakespeare's life. And when I say that, like I don't want people to be like, but we know him when he was married. We know when this. Like, yes, we know all of that sort of stuff. But we don't know the intricacies of like his personal life and relationships and what he was thinking. And his wife,
Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, exactly. Anne Hathaway, who's called Agnes in the movie. That's who Jessie Buckley plays. We do know that he had a son called Hamnet who passed away as a small child. Like that's known about William Shakespeare's life.
So that's a true
That's a true fact. A true fact is that he had a few children. One of them was a son called Hamnet, who we do know passed away from illness when he was a very young boy. And then we also know that it was a year or so after that one of his biggest plays ever, Hamnet, that he wrote and that it appeared on stage for the first time. And a title card comes up at the start of the movie where it says like back in that time, hundreds of years ago, that Hamnet and Hamlet were like interchangeable as a name. And so it's kind of very easy to see how the link to this incredible play about what this man goes through and like death and relationships and family and that sort of stuff, it could be linked to his mourning for his own son. So what the writer did was kind of imagine what had happened with this family, add a bit of a like not magic, but a slightly mystical, elevated kind of vibe to it, and also then say, but like what was his wife thinking, because it was
is her movie, right?
It's her movie.
Kind of like her movie and Shakespeare's just in it.
Absolutely. So everyone who was like, poor Mescal was shunned from the Oscar race, like a little bit, but it's not really his movie at all. And I think like maybe in a year where it's just because the actor categories were really stacked this year.
Yeah, and it's highly competitive.
So competitive. I think in another year, if there had not been a stacked, Paul Mescal could have just slipped through just for being in a really good movie, but not this year. And I think he didn't seem upset about that at all. Mm-hmm. It's really Jessie Buckley's movie because you're seeing it all through Agnes's eyes and storyline, and like her performance in it is so incredible, like the grief that you see but also the love, and it's just really beautiful to watch. I'm so glad I saw it, but I was really nervous going in. Why? Because I hadn't read the book, but I knew what the story was about. And the whole idea that it's about the death of a child is like in all the marketing, it's not meant to be a secret. You're immediately
like, I'm going to be sad.
I'm going to be sad. And I can sit through sad movies. Like, you know me, I'm not a big crier unless it's Avengers Endgame or both Wicked movies. Apart from that, I feel nothing. I'm dead inside. But I especially like seeing little kids go through trauma, or even in a movie, if I think it, like if it's a disaster movie, it's not even meant to be a sad movie, and I see a little kid in trauma, I'm just like, I can't deal with it. I just can't. I know some people in movies like, oh no, I don't care. Like, what if the dog dies? I'm like, I don't want to see a dog die, but I'm not going to get upset about it.
Yeah.
But if I see a child being like hurt, I can't. So I was like, how am I going to get through this movie? And it was interesting because I thought it was going to start with the death of a child and it all be about the aftermath. But instead, they spend a really long time really building the world and the story. So you see William and Agnes fall in love, and you see like them like getting married, and you see them raising a family, and you see this idea of like she wants to stay near this wood that she's really connected to, and she wants to stay in the world she grew up in, and he wants to go to London and write plays. So you see all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And it's wild because it's like hundreds of years ago, but like relationships, like it's the same, I think, we go through the same thing in relationships now.
Yeah.
Of like wanting two different things, but then coming together after such a tragedy.
Yeah, exactly. And sort of being like, we want two different things, but like when we're together, we're so happy and we'll make it work. And then, it's just that I will say that I don't really close my eyes in movies. That's more of a you thing.
It is.
And I don't really cover my face in movies or anything like that. Like I always watch everything. I think this is the first time I've covered I was like you in Scream 4.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I
was, or you in any horror movie that I've dragged you to.
Any horror movie or any sexy
movie. Or even a
movie.
slight thriller or a sexy movie, anything like that. I had to cover my eyes, which is unfortunate because I could still hear. But I just...
That's the thing with movies. It's both visual and sound.
I was like, I don't know what to do. So I covered my eyes and I can hear people, and it was in one of those little gold class cinemas across the road from our office. So there's only like 20 people in there. And because it's such a quiet movie, I could hear people sobbing too. So it was like, oh my God, I hate this. I hate this. I hate this.
Getting like surround sound of everything.
I was like, will I ever get away from this sadness that I'm feeling? And it was so sad, but really beautiful as well. And I'm really happy I saw it. I don't know if you saw the conversation of when this movie came out and the reviews were like incredible and everyone's like, this is going to win every Oscar. Yeah. And then there's other conversations started up alongside it of like, is this movie a masterpiece or is it just grief porn? And why do people want grief porn so much?
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but it's actually quite true. I think there comes to a point when we're watching film and TV and we become so desensitized by so many things. Like I think a lot of the time we're watching, and I want to say like as an example, something that's kind of lighthearted is like Bridgerton.
Yeah.
And we're watching like all of these seasons. I think the first season was such a shock value to everyone because that's the first time we're seeing like basically soft porn on TV and we're like all enjoying it. And there's like these big think pieces on why women want this. So he did that for season 2 and season 3. And then I remember like the first 4 episodes of this latest season, there wasn't that much sex at all. And we're kind of like, where's the sex?
Yeah, people are like, well, I can't care about this now.
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like there's certain tropes that we become quite desensitized to. So it feels like sometimes movies and TV has to like, to capture you, they have to do the full extreme. Yeah. So I do kind of understand that sentiment in a way.
I understand that side of it. I think the part of that conversation I didn't love was when some people were getting really angry and saying like, well, this movie is just trying to make you feel sad. It's trying to make you feel grief. And I was like, well, yes, like every movie wants to make you feel something.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of a movie. So if a movie wants to make you think about grief and it does that, I think
it succeeded.
I don't think it's grief porn. Yeah. And I also wonder like how much, just because it was such a story on like motherhood and like this and what this woman was going through and like childhood and stuff. And I almost wonder, I'm like, there's 37 war movies where we're supposed to cry because these brothers in arms, like one carried one out of the battlefield.
I would say that's more grief porn because I obviously haven't seen the movie, but I know the story.
Yeah.
And it's not like the death was like explicitly graphic.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah. So I don't think that really counts as grief porn.
Yeah, I didn't like that idea of like, it was kind of like almost like a hacky thing of like, oh, she just killed a child to make you cry. What do you think about that? I'm like, well, there's an hour of beautiful movie storytelling before we get to that. And then also the aftermath is dealt with really beautifully and it ends on a beautiful, hopeful note about like how you can move through grief and like not get over it, but learn to live with it, which I think is really important, especially for our society who, and I include myself in this, don't want to think about death, don't want to talk about it, get super uncomfortable talking to other people about it, don't know how to act when other people around me like lose people. Like it's just like, it's a no-go area.
Yeah.
And I don't think this movie changed that, but it was interesting to sort of be like, this is an uncomfortable thing that we don't live in. But I do understand at the same time, like, why people didn't want to see it. Like, I know so many friends, especially those with young kids, and I told them the story and they were like, nope, I can't. And I was like, I get that.
Yeah. But which is also, like, I think shows the success of the film, right? Like, putting on a film where everyone already knows the storyline and you can still make them have that visceral like reaction to it, I think that's a success in itself.
Yeah, exactly. So finishing off with like what we're saying about each of those movies, should you see this Oscar movie? I would say 100% yes, with the caveat, like, you know yourself, if there's a reason in your life where you can't be around that or you can't watch it, absolutely don't see it. But I do think it's not a surprise death, like everything is out there. But just if you've seen all these articles about how it's a whole movie dedicated to death and it's 2 hours of sadness, it's absolutely not that. No one can sit through that. So if you're just a bit worried to see it, I would say just push through, watch it. It's really beautiful. You'll be happy you did.
Yeah.
And then you'll feel better when Jessie Buckley wins her Oscar.
That's so true. I can't wait to watch it.